the meeting to order. Can I have a confirmation of the agenda, and be resolved that the committee confirm the agenda is presented? Need a mover and seconder. Would you like to move that, Brian? Sure. And I'll second it. And any discussion? Hearing none, that's carried. Any declaration of pecuniary interest? You can declare it now or sometime during the course of the meeting. We have no delegations and presentations. The adoption of minutes. Be resolved, the committee approved the minutes, from the August 13th, 2020 Recreation Advisory Committee meeting is presented. Do I have a mover? Yep. Okay, and I'll second it. Any discussion? We'll just say that's carried. Okay, we'll get into the recreation updates. 7.1 is discussion with South Grey Minor Hockey Executive regarding the 2020-2021 hockey season. There's a lot of discussion points. The first one is, hi Nathan from Grey Highlands. Good to see you. The second one is minor hockey request for facility usage. There's 3 bullets here: minor hockey hours of use, ice times projected, day of week times. We go into Southgate fees and Grey Highlands fees. So perhaps we'll go with you, RJ, about your hockey hours of use. What do you think? What are you thinking from the last meeting?
Yeah, I can't say for sure what we're going to be able to use because it's so unique. I would project that it'll be similar to last year, but honestly, until we do our registration, so we're doing our AGM next Tuesday night, so I would assume that an executive meeting will follow shortly after that, and then registration, I would guess probably by the end of next week we'll be getting that out because we're getting into September. So I can't say that we're committed to anything, but all I can say is that we hope that we get the numbers that we had predicted in the spring, and that would be ice time around what we had this past winter.
Okay. And I just have one question. You said you're starting the registration. How are you doing that with all this COVID? Are you doing it mainly online? And do you think your numbers are going to be low because of all this, or you can get the same benchmark as last year?
Yeah, we haven't had any registration yet. We're waiting till after our annual general meeting next Tuesday for the new executive to go forward with that. So we just want the people that are going to be in place beyond the amalgamation committee, part of that. So registrations, I'm just guessing, probably next week that's when they'll start. And we haven't had anybody come to us say that they're not playing hockey. The only things that we've had happen are the story that came out of the paper about the ice and maybe there not being any ice in Dundalk. Grayson had a few families say that they would not play hockey if it wasn't split 50-50. So that's the only word on the street that we've got from any of the membership regarding it. So, but as far as number of registrants, I don't know. I haven't heard anybody not coming back, so I'm going to be positive and say that they're all coming. So that would be similar to what we had last year.
How many did you have last year, RJ? Roughly.
I think we had 115. I think Grayson might know a more solid number, and Flushington had 125.
So pretty even.
Yeah, pretty close. I think we projected 17 teams with the registrations that they had worked out there back in the spring. So I think Just off the top of my head.
I see Grayson has said 2.25 for the combined organizations this year.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe, I don't know if giving a background of why the amalgamation happened. So if we didn't do something, we probably would have lost our rep status within a couple years, meaning that a lot of our players would go somewhere else to play hockey. This is for Dundalk and Fletcherton. So by joining forces, it's kind of keeping everything here instead of if those players leave and then we have a registration of only 45 or 50 kids, then we're only into using ice for 12 or 14 hours a week kind of thing, right? So we're trying to maximize our assets here. So that's the Cole's notes of it, really.
Yeah. Well, I certainly commend you and the others for your work and your efforts to try to keep this puppy going. I think it's well worth it for sure.
Yeah.
Is there any more information coming from OMHA on how things should operate that's guidance for you and us?
Grayson might know that a little bit better. From what I understand, they've got kind of protocols, but at the end of the day, I think it's the municipalities and the townships that are kind of to take the lead on what hockey's, like the usage of the facility is going to look like. They have guidelines as far as, so this season will just be in-house, from what I understand, probably in a 3-on-3 or a 4-on-4 format. And then I don't know if it'll be reevaluated halfway through or what their plan is. So I don't know if Grayson has more to add to that.
How fast can he type?
I guess that's a no, or no. You can speak, Grayson.
He can't get his mic to work, so he's frustrated. He probably wants to put his fist through the screen. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Calm down, Grayson. Calm down.
I'll jump in. I think what RJ said is we still don't know a lot more than what we knew a couple weeks ago, and we're still into a tiered-in approach that probably looks like January before we might play games, but we still don't know that. It's still up in the air.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can see, the longer this thing goes on, the more questions there are and everything else. I think that there'll be a few big things come out of the school. How successful a school opening will make it more comfortable for us to do other things like minor hockey. And by the, later part of September, we're going to know how successful school has been or hasn't been. So, maybe, I think we just need to keep talking. There's maybe not much we can decide tonight until you guys get some numbers and see where things are at. Maybe if it's not looking until January, maybe we don't put ice in until the middle of December. I think we need to have ice in for Christmas for kids to do something anyway.
Well, just to speak to that, I think there's lots of opportunity to have hockey prior to December. It's just that we might not play league games until January.
Okay, that's what you're meaning by that.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. There's an opportunity to have 3-on-3 and 4-on-4 starting in October, but we don't know about outside league games. That's what we're kind of referring to. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, may I interject? Hockey was never my sport, so with 3-on-3 and 4-on-4, that could be a nucleus for some kind of home family house league where you can have the ice in and kids are playing hockey, just like we were talking about before with that skate learn how to skate programs and stuff like that. And as Dave just said, get some ice in for just, the townspeople. And
that's essentially what the OMHA model is right now.
Okay.
Is everything's in-house, so I think that their numbers, you can have 50 players in a playing bubble, so whatever that kind of lines up as. So a lot of our age divisions will have those 50 kids, so we'll split them up into different teams. So for the foreseeable future, all the games will be played in-house. So the fact of not putting ice in, I think that the ice will be used.
Okay.
I wonder, would it be, it's an option, Dave or Kevin, maybe you could weigh in on this, but if we were to put the ice in, somewhere around the regular time, 1st of mid-October, something like that, or even 1st of November, we run the ice till 1st of the year and see what happens. And if we just don't get the numbers, if we don't get the usage, then you let the ice go out, I guess. But I'd hate to see the season get lost, at least the first half of the season get lost, just because we're not sure. I'd rather put the ice in and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, let the ice go out then, because, certainly there's going to be a cost to putting the ice in, but the big cost over the season is keeping it there.
Yeah, and I've talked to one of the men's league groups there, Chad Henry's Wednesday night stuff, and they said that they're committed to playing. They just aren't too sure what the protocols and stuff are going to be. So I know that there's definitely a want for it. And I really don't think that it'll be an issue of filling it. It'll just be whether or not we get the registrations, which we haven't heard anything negative, so I'll take the positive and say that we'll get the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the men's leagues are talking about coming only if the protocols expand. So the way the protocols are right now, they won't play. There's no way I can put 3-on-3 with dressing rooms, and then I've talked to Chad about maybe splitting the league to teams of 9 and less, but I told him you're 15 minutes in before the game, you're 15 minutes out, and there's no shared dressing rooms, there's no anything right now. And he says, well, we'd probably be tough to go under those protocols. And I said, yes. I said, all my men's teams I've approached, and under the current protocols, they will not be playing. So they're expecting, yes, they're hoping that protocols expand. They can use dressing rooms. They can bring their teams in, but we're a long way away from that. Maybe Nathan can speak to that too, because he's done a great job on their protocols here. And there's no way a men's team's probably going to play under the protocols that we're getting presented to the facilities, unless they're absolute diehard. But anyone I've talked to in my men's groups, they will not start under the protocols.
So, Kevin, is that Southgate rules with no dressing rooms? Because I know other arenas have opened their dressing rooms.
The only ones that have opened the dressing rooms that I know of is Owen Sound, but you still have to dress outside. The only reason they're open is because you go in and put your skates on. They're checked out, areas marked out because they don't have a bench to go in on. So you put your skates on, you still got to dress outside. You still have 15 minutes to go in, get your skates on, get off, take your skates off, and head outside. So saying the dressing rooms are available, they're not really available. They're no different than Ayton right now that has a bench in the lobby that you go in and put your skates on. So the protocols right now everywhere, including Owen Sound and everywhere, is 15 minutes before, 15 minutes after. You come in dressed, you leave dressed. You just have a bench somewhere in a 6-foot grid to put your skates on and carry on. So,
okay.
I talked to Chad about this one, and I mean, basically, these guys aren't wanting to come dressed in their cars to play hockey like we used to when we were kids. But anyway, I mean, there's the fear of getting in an accident with all this darn equipment on is what he said. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you guys hearing anything from OMHA coming down with different rules in the next few weeks, or are they kind of staying with what they have?
Grayson or Rob.
As for gameplay protocol, nothing's changing at this point. And as for facility regulations, OMHA really leaves that up to the public health unit and to municipalities.
I know Dr. Era is really pleased with how things are going. And, you know, like by the 1st of October, things may get relaxed when the schools give us some either positive or negative feedback as to how it goes. As of today, there's no active cases in Grey and Bruce County, but we've had that before, and there was flare-ups. So I think maybe Brian can speak to that, but I think that's the big thing everyone's waiting for, is to see how the schools start up and go for 30 days.
Yeah, I suspect that's likely what they're waiting for.
Would there be any benefit to, and I maybe brought this up, but I'll bring it again because I think we could likely find funding support for another set of boards that we end up dividing the ice 3 ways. I mean, the more kids get to touch the small guys anyway, would there be a benefit in us running 3 ice surfaces for your guys in those early days to, you know, make it more exciting for the little guys?
Yeah, I don't know that the overhead costs of that would be worth it, Dave, honestly, especially with the numbers and how many are allowed in a certain area. I don't see it personally being a benefit.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do with those boards whenever everything opens back up, right?
I think
we've got space, we can store them down at the end or something, but I mean, I'm not worried about storage. We'll find a place to store them, but if you thought there was benefit, I would do some digging to see if we could get a sponsor. But something for you guys as an organization to marinate over that idea as an option. Maybe that's a discussion with your board, or with the membership. I think right now we really can't accomplish much tonight without the feedback from your membership. How many members you're going to have playing hockey in the 2 organizations or in the 1 organization, but are both the old and the new, and see what's coming forward, and then we can, once you have those numbers, I think we can better plan and assess a longer range plan.
I would agree with Dave. I think sorry, I missed the first couple of minutes of the meeting. I apologize, but I think we're into next Tuesday. We have our AGM of the new association, and I think once we set registration fees and we try to figure out how many people are going to register, I think we need those numbers, and then to come back to both Nathan and to Dave or the committee from Southgate. I think we really need to find out how many numbers we have, and then come back to you guys and see where we're at.
Yeah, I agree there, Rob. The numbers are critical. We need to know how much ice time you can use, and you can't project that stuff until you have the numbers. RJ talked about that at the start as well. So,
Sorry about that. I missed the start.
All right, I agree. Yep.
I agree. Figuring out more is important, but when you look at it from a member's perspective as well, their biggest question, especially what was published in the paper, is going to be, I will play if it's 50-50, but if Dundalk's not confirmed having ice, we're not going to get those people to register.
Yeah.
And then that drives our registration numbers down.
Yeah.
Well, I would caution anybody to suggest that if read it in the paper, it's true, doesn't always hold true. Just from experience,
At the same time, there's nothing like getting controversy in the paper and getting people to react. So obviously, we have people that's interested in playing hockey from the reaction we got. So
they're paying attention.
That's a good message. I guess where I was going to go is maybe the chair could give us some advice from the committee. I'm wondering if maybe a staff, Kevin and I, and Nathan should try and figure this out with minor hockey a little bit. Maybe we can have a couple meetings over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then come back to the board with a plan, or the committee with a plan.
Yeah, that makes sense, because with what you said about another order splitting the ice into 3, that might work, but they still don't know their numbers from registrations. They might have a lot of young tykes that would love that. So
sure.
It is dependent on the registrations they get and the meeting they have at the AGM. Because without the, quite frankly, without the numbers for the different levels, how can you even go into the next part of that's on the agenda, the Southgate fees and Grey Highland fees? We can't even talk about that because we have no idea of...
I saw Nathan was waving his hand there. He wanted to say something, I think.
Yeah,
thank you.
Nathan, go ahead.
I just wanted to point out, in Grey Highlands here, we just approved our reopening SOP, so I'd be happy to share that with the group. I tried to add to the chat here, but it won't allow me to. If I can just get some email addresses maybe after this, I can share with everybody, and you guys can take a quick look if you want. It's been pretty helpful to us.
That would be good. Yep. Would you want to give just a quick overview right now, or?
Yeah, sure, I can. So some of the major things that we will be doing is we'll be installing QR codes at each building. So before any person can enter any of our facilities, they must register through the QR code. So any smartphone can pick this up. You open up your camera and you hover it over, and it'll bring you to a survey. It's all done in-house. Information isn't shared. What we're going to do is we're going to set up for teams. So we'll be working with minor hockey to get team lists, and then we'll have coaches register the teams as they come in. That's assuming that we get to that point, that we have teams coming into the buildings, of course. Obviously, the enhanced cleaning and sanitation. Some of the ice rentals, we are also doing the 15 minutes prior and 15 minutes after. Players are to come dressed as best as they can with space provided to put on skates. We've marked out a lot of our lobbies to see how many people we can fit in. Some of the things we had to do is we can basically get 5 people into our change rooms properly spaced out, and then we've also blocked off our lobby to space that out as well. We'll be using an indoor as the main entrance, and then our exit door would be down the hallway between the dressing rooms. People will be coming and going. All change rooms would be sanitized after each use. We would require a little bit of assistance from minor hockey in this, so we would be providing spray bottles with sanitizer, and we would ask coaches to assist us with sanitizing the benches in between. We'd also be wiping down all the players' benches, anything that's touched, no shared equipment, and basically just a little bit of other stuff pertaining to cleaning.
Okay, thank you.
Are you planning on renting on the hour then, or some of the arenas are sitting for half an hour for cleaning? What are you planning there, Nathan?
That's still a big discussion right now. Before we were able to get a solid 4 hours worth of rentals in. Right now we're trying very hard to get that to three rentals in the evenings. It's going to be tough though.
Okay.
Hey guys, so I rent some ice up in Ayton from Tom there, and he is doing an overlap to give him time for cleaning. But on a couple of occasions already, he's accidentally double booked, and he did actually manage to get all of his cleaning done in the proper amount of time.
Actually, one more thing to add to that, we're I have a report going to council for September 2nd, I believe it is, to hire cleaning staff actually specifically for COVID in all of our halls and arenas. So we'll be seeking 2 contracted staff to help us with cleaning as well.
And that seems to be a big part of the equation too. The finances to look after the cleaning. Would the registration fees from the hockey put a little percentage in to help you people with that, or would that just be the onus on the
money from the province to help with those kind of expenses? Dave, I think we should be able to use that kind of money, some of that money, for this type of an expense, would we not?
Yeah, so my report actually requests that the funds come from the just over $300,000 that was granted related to COVID. That's where I'm requesting the funds come from.
Yeah, Southgate didn't get that much. But we did get a significant amount of money. And I don't think Dave's had time to spend it all yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Do we have a projection of what the cost of cleaning is going to be per week or per month or anything like that?
That would be up to Dennis, I would think.
So the information that I did is I put it based off previous rentals and the rentals that we can expect to have. So based off the time frame available, so we're looking at that 3-hour window. I'm projecting that I'm going to need possibly 2 hours in between that 3 hours just to keep cleaning, because they got to keep floating around, and then at the end of the night as well. So we would be looking at, just pull my report, 48 hours a week of additional cleaning.
So, hey Nathan, do you think we'd have 15 to 20 minutes between ice rentals then? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
How about Kevin? Have you guys thought about that too much?
We've got a fogger down here, so yeah, we're thinking we can get a changeover pretty quick. I'm certainly not going an hour in between. If we're going an hour in between, there's no sense putting ice in. And because 3 hours a night is going to be pretty tough to even pay some bills. So with the fogger, we're hoping that we should be able to do a dressing room in 15 minutes, sanitize it, and have it ready to go for the next group. So yes, I'm hoping that if we put the ice in, that our time turnover rate would be, maybe we may not even have a turnover rate, depending on, people, if they in one door, out the other, and we can social distance if you're going to use the stands, whatever. But it all comes down to how many kids are coming in and how many we can spread out.
What are you guys doing for spectators, Kevin?
We'll probably follow like Nathan's already done most of that stuff here, and looks like he's got it from the public health, so we'll probably follow pretty close. He's saying 1 spectator will be admitted for games, 1 spectator for child, under 10, and no spectators for anyone over age 11. So what Nathan's put together here, so we'll probably match what he's doing.
Okay.
Kevin, can you email me that so we can send it out to our membership, just so they kind of have an idea of what to expect as well?
Well, that's Nathan, so you better...
Yeah, I sent that to Rob again this morning, and I'll send it out to the group. I'll pull the email address from the invite, and I'll send it out to everybody.
That's great.
Yeah, as long as somebody has it, we can work with it.
So, Nathan, that SOP has been approved in Grey Highland?
Correct.
And should we wait, Kevin or Dave, till you guys approve one before we advertise it?
You can just follow this one. It'll be pretty close to anything.
Okay.
Nathan's got the references of the Grey Bruce Health Unit and everything, so I'm not going to find anything different. I don't think.
Perfect.
Like really, until we get functioning, you know, the ins and the outs are going to be kind of challenging until we really finesse this thing. It's one thing to put it on paper; it's another thing to put it into operation. So, I mean, you know, can we get people? If we can use, say, in the early days, 3 dressing rooms for the people that are in, and 3 dressing rooms for the people coming in. For the next hour, you know, maybe we can ratchet that down, but there's got to be a lot of cooperation, and you know, maybe minor hockey has to help police that a bit, you know, on a nightly basis, because I don't think the way we're going to function is we're going to be able to put staff in place to clean, police the incoming and going, and as well manage the facility. So, you know, we can't be doing that when we're out cleaning the ice and so on. But the devil will be in some of the details when we start to actually function and operate.
Well, I think Dave, just to add to that is, so our new association is having their AGM on Tuesday. I think we said that earlier.
Yep.
And we're going to try to set registration fees and see the quantity of kids that register, which we hope is the number we think. But I think it would be good to revisit this conversation and after that AGM, and maybe, I don't know, like approximately maybe 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
And then we'd all have more information by then.
Yeah. I would agree with that, because the next part down on the agenda, it's facility requirements and hours of ice. It's a minimum of 30 hours a week. So you can't even tell us that. That's what it says here. Hours of ice need minimum of 30 hours a week. Commitment from, that's another talking point maybe. But we can't even go there because you don't know your registrations yet. So
I don't agree with that number.
Just to be transparent, is like if we have full registration, we're looking at 20 hours in Fletcher and 20 hours in Dundalk. That's with everybody coming back as we project. So just to be clear on that, I don't think 30 hours is a number. I think we're 20 to 21 hours in each facility.
well, that is something that will have to be discussed when you get your numbers then, I would think.
Yeah.
So Dundalk Minor Hockey used 21 hours for Dundalk Minor Hockey last year, and we sublet 3 hours of ice to Shelburne.
The 30 hours there is just basically the number we're throwing out that I need to even put the ice in. I'm not saying it's entirely minor hockey, but the men's protocols are going to have to change. Maybe Shelburne comes to us in that time frame, whatever. But like I said, we can't put these facilities and the ice in and lose money. And now, if the government's going to pay us to put them in and we take that money, then whatever. But like I said, our tax base isn't entirely committed to hockey. We've got other sports in this community that we're trying to support and run and maintain. And if we blow our entire budget on 20 hours of hockey for minor hockey for, I hate to say it, 50% of the kids from Dundalk or whatever, yes, they're getting a bonus in Flushing too, but dollars and cents tell me right now that the taxpayer isn't going to support it. But maybe they will. Maybe the government give us a whack of money. That's up to how much the deputy mayor put in his pocket and how much we actually got. And we go from there. But it's at this point, it's I got to get a commitment from other people too. Like 20 hours a week is not going to be anywhere close to making budget. And
so there's a couple of things there. 20 hours has been the commitment in the past years. And I think also this coming year, as Dave Milner said last week or a couple weeks ago, 20 hours has been what we have invested in Flushing and Dundalk. And with COVID being involved, I think we all need to take a look and see what we can all do to keep minor hockey involved in both centers. So I think as much as I appreciate what Kevin said, I think we all need to take a look and see what's possible to keep, sports going in both communities. So, I think it's something we need to consider.
And with that said, I think we can work together because families aren't going down to see the Toronto Maple Leafs play or the Raptors, or they're going to be looking for more things close to home. And maybe that's where we can work with you guys together and, have some kids pick up hockey through Ethan and use some of your membership that maybe they want to spend, some time playing more hockey than what you guys are offering. And then what about some small tournaments on weekends with the, after the new year to just try and keep these things going because, if we're not going to have, the financial support, it's going to be hard to keep it going even long term. So if you guys can do 20 hours, let's see where that gets us started, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
My only fear is that
RJ, go ahead.
Yeah, my only fear is that if we don't have ice, that going into next year or the years after that, I think it's hard to rebound from nothing, right? I think you got to keep traction, and this year's probably going to be a rocky road no matter what. And I think we need to use this as a year to grow into the years after the pandemic.
Yep. No,
there's a lot of uncertainties.
For sure. Let's see how your meeting turns out, and let's get back together, maybe later next week or the week after. And are you okay, Brian and Martin, that do it at a staff level? I think we can meet 2 or 3 times fairly quickly between Nathan and Kevin and I, and minor hockey, and try and get some meat on the bones and come back with a proposal.
Yeah,
to the
that sounds good.
Well, I'm fine with that as long as you maybe need somebody that's not quite as strident as Mr. Green about the dollars and cents. I think you might be surprised how supportive the community might be if it was a matter of putting a little bit more money into the pot to keep minor sports alive.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think September 10th maybe would be a good time to kind of reconvene and see what we know by then.
I think so. But I'm fine, Dave, if the staff want to have a go at it for sure.
No, let's go there. Maybe we can keep the deputy mayor and the facilities manager separated and get further ahead.
Just remember
they're
that
like
comment.
three-way shots.
Hey, remember that comment at wage increase.
Isn't it great to have tenure, Kevin? Anyway,
so bad, you'll be good.
we can put together. Let's see what we can put together, and you guys, whoever, Rob, RJ, get back to us, or Grayson, let us know, and we can set something up pretty quick.
Yeah. Because right now, until after the AGM, we are kind of going around in circles. We know what we need, but
Yeah, for sure. I would go 2 weeks from now, at the minimum. That'll give us time.
Yeah, you let us know. The problem we have is that when we have a committee of council, we have these starchy timelines that we got to publish the agenda and all that sort of thing.
Sure, yeah.
You can meet with minor hockey and Kevin and Nathan and I at the drop of a hat. We can meet tomorrow night if we decide to meet. So I think that's a lot more flexibility. We can move faster, be more agile, and then say, okay, let's meet with the committee, or maybe let's meet with Grey Highlands rec committee and our rec committee and get down to brass tacks or whatever. But we can figure that out, in 12, 14 days, and then go from there. And try, to me, I would, by the middle of September, let's have a plan that we can take back to the committee.
Yeah, 100%. I would think probably within a couple weeks we should have a better idea.
Yep. I'm good with that.
Okay, there was a meeting already scheduled on the old calendar for September 17th at 2 p.m. Is that too far ahead? We can change the time.
So
it's on the old calendar.
So that's just that was for a normal rec meeting, Martin. These ones are kind of special because council allowed it, right?
Yeah. So that's true too. So, okay. Thank you, Lindsay.
Yep.
But with that said, maybe we can have a proposal we can bring on paper for that meeting.
Yes,
you know, if RJ or Grayson or Rob aren't available, you know, there's no reason we couldn't change it to later that day too. But anyway, we can at least be prepared to bring some feedback to that meeting and then have a special meeting later or before or whatever.
I think that sounds good.
Yep, sounds good to me.
That's fair.
Nathan, you good?
And when is your AGM?
Next Tuesday.
September the 1st.
Next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Why don't we after that meeting we'll give you guys an update and see how things go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
If one of you want to call us or just whatever, send us an email, or we can set up a quick meeting of any kind.
Good. I think that sounds good.
Yep, that sounds good to me. Sounds good to you, Nathan?
It's fine with me.
Okay. Everybody in agreement? So, yeah, you tell us when, and I'll make sure I can be around, and Brian, and we'll go from there. So is that it for this part of the meeting, or I think we're all agreed to meet again?
I think we're good. Thank you.
Councillor Shipson, we just have to have a mover and seconder just to receive it as information. Then we're good.
Yeah, so thank you, Lindsay. I was just getting there. So, be resolved that the committee received the information and discussions from the South Grade Minor Hockey Executive as information. Do I have a mover and seconder?
Yep.
Yep, and I will second it, and no more discussion. I would think that would be carried. So, I'm going to enjoy the next chat with you too, and Nathan, send all that stuff in your email, the SOP. That would be grand.
No, not a problem.
Okay.
Are we done?
No, we still have a little bit, but the guys don't have to stay.
Okay.
No, we're into the new unfinished business right now. So, Kevin, do you have anything to add to what's going on with the pool and the new?
So he has to. We just wait. We can't have any new business. We just have to go straight to members' privilege.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Guys, bye.
Thank you. Any good news from anybody?
I can go at the reunion committee's giving us a donation of $4,000 to buy tables for upstairs. I'd like to actually consider buying a better grade one than I have at the McIntyre building. So 16 tables will be $5,900. So we'd have to put in $1,900 of our own money. We did put $20,000 for auditorium amenities in the Capitol, but we've pretty much shot that budget. So if I can just go over on the budget, I'll order them, get them done. The other thing I want to order with it is a 60-chair dolly that we can leave 60 chairs upstairs in the auditorium for meetings or whatever. And we figure the 16 tables will stack, and the chairs on these dollies will fit in the storage room real nice.
Okay.
And but it's money that really we're over, but we have spent over that $20,000 for amenities on that auditorium, so we'll just be creeping a little bit over top.
Okay.
That purchase.
Sounds good.
Kevin, what committee did you say gave the money? I missed that.
Reunion committee.
Reunion.
The 10-year reunion
Okay,
committee.
thank you.
That's good.
I'm fine with that. Those tables at McIntyre, they're functional, but after a while, they start to look pretty tired.
Well, the white plastic stains with coffee. So the new ones will be ABS folding tables, and they'll have a gray top instead of the white top. So I'm hoping won't stain as much.
Yep.
Like the ones at the Mac did a great job, but just the coffee stains you can't get out of them.
Right.
So you got to use a tablecloth now for any function.
Maybe you should just stain the whole top with coffee, and then it'll all look the same.
Well, green color.
Will the ABS be a little bit heavier, like weight-wise? Yeah.
It's a more deluxe table. The weight on each table is 50 pounds, so a little heavier.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's the beauty of those ones at the McIntyre building. Anybody can set them up, but 50 pounds, a couple people can do that easy.
Yeah. Kevin, with that figure you mentioned, the 20,000, because of all this COVID stuff, did you actually ever order those rock climbing things for the wall up in the upper mezzanine? Or could that be put on hold to get money to be put into the tables? Or
too late. There's over 2,000 screws into them now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We put them up yesterday, so no, the rock climbing wall's up. Everything's done up. The Kids R Us move in next week, I think, or the 6th, September 6th, 2 weeks. They're moving in up there. The kids' lounge is ready to go. Ping pong table, foosball table. Ethan just wants to get the old TVs out of the council chamber. I think Lindsay had mentioned to Ethan that you guys were getting away from the TVs, so if we could steal those too, then we'd have everything done up in the auditorium. Once these tables are here, we're finished.
Yep.
Ready to go.
Awesome.
Well done.
I think that's that then. So the next meeting, as I mentioned, that one that is on the schedule that from the year for the September 17th at 2, that's just a regular meeting. Lindsay, could we use that as a meeting after?
Yep. Yeah, we can still use that date. That's no problem. We just can't have other items on the agenda because right now we can't technically have committee meetings. We just made council pass this to allow for the minor hockey discussion. So that's okay. But that date is fine. That's no problem. Like normally I would have just deleted it out of the calendar, but we can use that date for a meeting like this, but it can only be about the minor hockey.
Well, that's what I mean. It might have to be about that after they bring forth they need. So September 17th at 7 p.m. for a meeting then?
Yeah, I mean if they're going to be ready for it, like I mean we should maybe just put in the minutes just to be determined. So we're not stuck on that date. I just don't know what just depends what they come back with, I guess, right, Dave?
Yeah. Up in the air. Okay.
Your next meeting will be probably directly to council because they're going to come wanting a deal, and they're going to come and it'll be my report on the number of hours. So it'll be basically council's decision on whether you're going to extend the deficit to cover minor hockey. So really at this committee level, there's not much. It's what they're coming with now is...
Dave, you're muted.
Let's just wait and see until we get some more meat on the bones and see what they come up with.
Yep.
Who knows? I know they're going to try hard because they know we're challenged, like they are, and we'll just see where it goes. But anyway.
Okay.
So for the minutes, I'll just put next meeting to be determined, just so it's not stuck on anything.
Like before we've seen the impact, I guess what I'll say is we've seen the impact of saying things at council. So I think let's keep it at a staff level. We'll bring it to committee. And when we take it to council, that's going to be the way it is, kind of thing. we'll figure it out here before we start going to council and saying, you know, we're going to have 20 hours in the Dundalk Arena, or we're shutting the plant down. Because, but I mean, I think we can work things out. We'll just figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. Until then, the adjournment be resolved that the committee adjourn the meeting at
7:50.
7:50. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kevin.
Good. There's Nathan's email now, I think.
Brian, did you move the adjournment?
I sure did.
Okay, thanks.
Not till now, but I will.
Thank you.
That's his favorite part of the meeting.
I figured that.
Yeah.
I'm short a flag too for the Legion because they usually replace the one at the Parkette. So is it all right if I take the one from Drumore?
No. No.
Careful.
I just